I don't know what thing I want to address first. I have like three things I want to address. Um, so first and foremost, I don't know if you heard that cough. That's my mom. So I guess we're going to address that. And she may call me. She may verbally call me. She may call me on my phone. If that's the case, I'll cut it out of the video. Um, Secondly, I'm using my headset because my Yeti. I don't know what's going on with my Yeti. Like it works, but it only works if I plug it into one specific USB port, and then that stops making my mouse work. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it. So I'm not chancing it. Um, what was the third thing? Oh, the third thing is if y'all want to make mean comments, I am going to direct y'all to the video that I'm going to put right up here. Um, because it's rude. It's inconsiderate. And I've already addressed it. So we don't need to go there. Okay. Um, but that being said, I have coffee. I have my vape, which hopefully I won't be using very often. I actually have a couple, so I may grab one or a different flavor or something. I don't know. Oh, and number four is I got explicit permission from somebody involved directly in all of this. Well, directly, indirectly, affected directly, involved indirectly, to be able to make this video. Before anybody comes to me being like, oh, you bringing up shit. Oh, no, 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 no. I have permission. I actually went and asked him. I was like, do you mind? Because I feel like this is relevant. And they were like, yeah, go ahead. Matter of fact, like, if you need me to make clips, girl, I can get you. And I was like, all right, bet. So, with that being said, I'm sure somebody's going to have a problem. The person that we're discussing today is going to have a problem with this shirt. This is Bring Me the Horizon, by the way. I thought it was kind of funny. I was already wearing it, but I was like, fitting. Because I'm sure there's a type of person that would be like, the Star of David is a demonic symbol. Ooh. So without further ado, let's address the elephant in the room. And I'm not trying to call anybody here big or fat or be all of that. But Gabby, 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 we need to talk. Okay. And before we do, any drama channel that wants to pick this up, you're more than welcome. I don't care. I'm a teeny tiny little YouTuber. I got 100 and some odd subscribers, and that's it. Y'all want to pick this up and run with it? I don't care. Go ahead, by all means. Um, I'm just doing what Gabby asked her fans to do a while ago, which is be honest and come with facts. And the fact is that I was in her public Patreon, and that's what I'm going to be speaking about, among a couple other things, because what I saw on the Patreon brought up some other shit, and I'm just like, where's the accountability? Is it in the room with us? I don't think it is. So let's get to it. So, first and foremost, I'm not entirely sure which day it was, because days have come and days have gone without me saying a word in that Patreon. So I couldn't tell you what day it was. I know that if you were to go and look at, oh, two more things that I need to address. One, there's airplanes. I don't know if y'all hear them, but there's airplanes. I live near a military base. And two, the sun is playing peekaboo with the clouds, so the lighting may change. So those two other things, go ahead and get out of the way. But anywho, I know Peter Mon had posted a video um, reading some of the things that were in her Patreon, and that's what made me curious. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. Like, who would be so bold after they're like, I've healed, I've forgiven them, I've repented, I've done this, I've done that. See, look at the sun. I'm a ghost now. I'm gonna cease to exist. Um, I had to fix the exposure, and now I look ghostly pale. Oh, but anywho, so I was like, I need to go find this Patreon. There's no way. Like, somebody has screenshotted this and then doctored it. Like, so I go because it was free. Oh, and by the way, it's conveniently been taken down. Um, but I had to go and see, and I'm like, there's no way, there's no way, there's no way. I needed to know for myself. I go in, it's open, it's public, it's free. So I go in, and I'm scrolling, 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 and Peter is reading an excerpt from the Patreon, and I find it, and I'm like, okay, this is where he's starting. Read down from there, and oh, it gets worse. Like what he reads in his video gets worse, and I can tell you it was either that day or the very next day was when I joined the Patreon. So there's your gauge. Like if you can find the video where he is talking about Adam McIntyre and Trisha being mentioned in the Patreon, I may be able to find the video and link it below, um, as well as the person who gave me the explicit permission. I'll link their channel down below as well. They will come up. I will like give the identity because it is fucking relevant, and because again I do have permission. Um, but it was around that day. It was either that day or the next day, and I went in again, scrolled to the top. Like there were deleted messages. There were chunks, okay, of deleted messages, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? Like people, what are these people saying? It's got to be problematic, right? It's got to be like you're XYZ, blah, 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 blah. Like, it has to be, it cannot be Gabby that's saying this. It has to be one of the people that's come in here to troll, to grab, to do something. I don't know what. Right? It has to be for it to be deleted. It has to be really off the wall for it to have been deleted. So I'm scrolling and I'm looking through and I'm reading and I'm like, Miss Ma'am, like there was a person that was in there and they were going off on Miss Gabby. And I was like, and Gabby's like blaming them for stuff. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. Never mind. So, like, Gabby is going off at them. And the way that she's going off on them, not Christian like, not calm, not anything. It's giving triggered. It's giving I'm not over it. It's giving I'm still upset. How dare you say their name? Like it's giving that. But Gabby's the one that brought that person up. Like the conversation was around Trisha, and basically that person asked like, "What does Trisha have to do with your healing process and you finding God? Like, what does that really have to do? Why did you feel the need to bash her on TikTok before making your testimony?" That's essentially what this person is asking. And Gabby's just like, "Why are you bringing Trisha into my Patreon?" Like, it's like, girl, you brought her up. Like, it's been years. Trisha has a whole kid. I don't even know if she had a second one. I think she did. But, like, Trisha married. Trisha got a kid. Trisha minding her business. Trisha got a podcast. Trisha doing the damn thing. And then she admits that she's upset they still have thriving careers. That these people that hurt her still have thriving careers, aka meaning Trisha and Jesse. And I may sneeze. And if I do, I'm going to cut it out. But she admits that she's upset and that it is envy, but she doesn't want to take their careers from them. But she's upset that they have a thriving career. Girly pop. Girly pop. No. Also, my bird is like literally on the other side of my computer, and you may hear her make noise. You may hear her chirp. I don't know. Anywho, so I'm just addressing all of the things. Like, I'm just being transparent AF. Unlike some other people, but anywho. So, oh, I'm about to look at Deathly Pale again. I'm a ghost. I'm a ghost. I can't see me. Um, uh, so anywho, oh my God, Sun, Mr. Sun, Mr. Golden Sun, can you please hide for a minute, please? Can you please go away? Oh, look at me controlling nature. No, Mr. Sun, go away. Hide behind the clouds. Please go away. Please go away. I look like a ghost. Mr. Sun, please hide. Oh, that was a mistake. Bitch. Anywho, so she's going off and she's like, why would you bring Trisha into this chat? And so, like, Gabby's just like, you triggered me. You're traumatizing me. And so I'm scrolling and I'm like, okay, let me see how this conversation continues to go. And it, boy, Jackson, sweetie, honey, Jackson, like, goes off on the mods. Okay, there's only two. There's 100, well, there's hundreds of people that are in the group chat, the free group chat, which, again, is gone. And Jackson is going off on the mods saying, like, well, if these people are problematic, like, why aren't we just banning them and blocking them? And one of the mods comes back and says, because we believe that people can have constructive, like, can give constructive criticism and have constructive conversations. And I'm like, oh, well, then this is the perfect place for me because I want to have some discussions. And as it continues to go on, like, I'm scrolling through everything, right? Getting back to where today is at that point, at the point of me joining. And all that I'm seeing was apparently posted 5 days before I joined. So about a day before Evangelina posted her video is when I had entered. And Evangelina goes over the same messages, some of the same messages that I am referring to. And so I'm scrolling down. I'm getting into the replies and everything, which is where Jackson was arguing with a mod. Jackson, by the way, being one of Gabby's biggest fans, like handpicked by Gabby. I don't know. Gabby's coming out with a song called August 3rd, and Jackson made it a point to be like, my birthday's August 3rd. I've been chosen. I am the chosen one. Oh, the Delulu is strong. Anywho, so Jackson is like going off on this mod. They're arguing back and forth, and I keep scrolling. And I'm like, okay, that's handled. Like, whatever. I keep scrolling, and I notice that someone's name that I thought looked familiar was in the chat, and I was like, really? Really? This has to be a troll account. This has to be a troll using this girl's name to trigger Gabby. Ain't no way this girl gonna waste her time coming up in the group chat. What's going on? So, that person's name was Jen Dent. For those of you that don't know, Jen Dent was a good friend of Jesse's. Jesse was a friend turned enemy of Gabby. I don't even know if they were like friends. I feel like given all of the context, they were friendly acquaintances that just became like mortal enemies. That's more or less the understanding that I took from everything else. Like, I would not have called that person my best friend. Like, if I was either one of them at that particular point in time, like, y'all really didn't know each other. Like, that's not best friends. Like, I have best friends, and I can go to them and talk to them about everything. Y'all were like both kind of tiptoeing around each other, so I wouldn't necessarily call that friends or best, much less best friends. I would have called that like friendly acquaintances, friendly co-workers, like Vine co-workers, co-collaborators, friendly collabors of some sort turned mortal enemies, because that's exactly what the fuck happened at the end. But yeah, so Jen Dent was a very good friend, and it still is, as far as I'm aware, a very good friend of Jesse's. And Jesse was somewhere in some sort of friendly situation with Gabby. Her and Gabby have a fallout. Friendship go bye bye. I don't feel like I need to rehash all the reasons why. If you need to know why their friendship ended, go watch Jesse's channel. And I can link that below. And the Gabby Hannah Won't Stop video. Or Gabby Hannah Will Never Stop. Girl, Jesse. Jesse smiles. Jesse. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. You were right. And I hate that you were right. I hate it. With She will never stop. She will never stop. Like, she can't, she can't, she can't, she can't. And I freaking hate it. And like, I wanna like hold your hand and like give you a hug and be like, I am so sorry, because when that video came out, I kind of was like, yes, she will. Like, eventually, someone's going to yeet her off the internet and she will be forced to stop. Like, or once she gets it out of her system, she'll stop. I thought with the series that she came out with, she was done. She was going to stop. She was going to do whatever, leave the internet, call it a day, move on with her life, live a life, and then be done. But no. So I'm in this group chat again, and I see Jen Dent, and I'm like, ain't no way that's Jen Dent. Ain't no way. Somebody got to be using her name to troll. Like, what? And I see messages as I'm reading them, gone, 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 gone. And I'm like, I couldn't. What was the problem? I couldn't even read it. Well, as soon as they're posted, they're gone. And I'm like, what did she say? What is going on? And so I'm like, maybe this is Jen Dent. But even still, what the fuck is going on? And I forget his name. I want to say it's Matt. Matt Mike something is the mod's name. Maybe it's Mike and Mandy. I know Mandy is one of them. I want to say it's like M and M, quirky. Matt and Mandy, Mike and Mandy, something. I don't know. I want to say that's what his name is. I could be totally wrong. Um, I could be completely wrong with the letter. I think it starts with M, but I could be completely wrong. It could be Tom, like Tom from MySpace. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. Tim, Tom, Mike, Matt, something, and Mandy. Mandy is Me and Mandy had discussions. Oh, okay. So finally, finally, I guess the mods go to bed, and it's probably like 1 in the morning, and Jen Dent comes back, and like nobody had said anything because like the comments back and forth stopped. And I was like, so did everybody go to bed? Like, I'm typing, I'm like, so did everybody go to bed or like die? Like, like I'm dead. Like, what happened? The chat kind of died. Did everybody go to bed? Hit enter, waited, nothing. And I'm like, guess so. I go back to watching my YouTube and, chilling and stuff. And I don't get notifications for Patreon chats, by the way, because I'm not just sitting here watching it, watching it, watching it, watching it. Like, no. But now if there's a discussion being had currently when I come in, then yeah, I'll watch it for a little bit until the discussion ends. And then I'm like, okay, back to over here. So I was on YouTube and I couldn't sleep. It was like midnight, 1 o'clock, and I pop back over there and I see Jen is in a conversation with, I think it was Jackson at the time, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And here comes somebody else, and I'm just like, what the hell? So Jen posed a question, and she was like, she basically was like, while we're on the subject of apologies and everybody being owed an apology, where's mine for you starting this rumor? Or at the very least perpetuating one. Like, where's my damn apology? And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. What apology? For what? What did she do? And so I'm sitting here because, and I'm going to give y'all the same, like, background information that I gave the chat. I think I've mentioned it a couple times on my channel. Well, I know I mentioned the fact that I served in the military on my channel, but I don't know if I mentioned what I was trying to do. So what I was trying to do was be a human intelligence collector, basically an interrogator. And so what that entails is asking a lot of questions, but asking them indirectly, asking open-ended questions, asking repeat questions, trying to get them to, trying to basically figure out if they are being honest or if they're deceitful or if they're caught in the details and be like, well, no, like this specific thing, like semantics and stuff. So I will use semantics and I'll be like, well, you said this, so what did you mean by that? Well, you're hung up on a word. No, wording matters. If you're wording something a particular way, why? Right? And so I go in and I'm not trying to use any of these tools that I learned, but it just starts coming naturally. I'm just like, oh, open-ended question. Let's pose one. Like, what do you mean an apology? What do you need an apology for? And so Jen's just like, she accused me of this, and this, and behind a paywall stated this to her fans and basically instigated this whole situation. And I was like, oh, I ain't know about that because I didn't. Like, I think it was mentioned briefly when I was watching the series and the whole like Gabby Hanna will never stop and the whole like Gabby series of addressing Jesse Smiles and Trisha Paytas and Escape the Night and Rice Gum. Like watching that series, I think it was addressed very briefly, like very briefly. And I think it was mainly in the part where Gabby was like, you need to get your girl Jen Dent to stop tweeting me. And Jesse's like, I'm cooking supper and my sister or sister in law is in the hospital. What the fuck does this have to do with me? Because basically, basically, Gabby was like, you need to put a muzzle on your bitch, essentially. Like, you need to put a muzzle on this dog over here yapping on Twitter. That's essentially what Gabby's trying to get her to do. And Jesse's very much like, Jen is her own person. She's a grown adult. I cannot police her. What are you asking? And so it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And Jesse is just like, Jen, look, I don't know what's going on, but just stop. Like, whatever you're doing, if you're doing anything, just stop, please. Like, I can't deal with this. And I get it. Like, Jesse didn't ask to be put in that situation. Gabby shouldn't have put Jesse in that situation. Like, it was a whole fucking messy situation. Okay. So, like, I think it was mentioned very briefly in that sort of context. And I'm not going to get into it. That is Jen's business. Like, I'm not going to comment on Jen's business per se. I'm just mentioning the fact that, like, yes, she was in there. I'm going to post her video below um, to give context so that you guys do have the information that it's coming straight out of the horse's mouth and it's not perpetuated by me. It's not like this giant whisper game of, like, oh, yeah, this happened. Well, where's your proof? And then I have to go dig it up anyway. I'm just going to grab it and then y'all can view it. But there were some very serious fucking accusations brought against Jen. And what I will say was that Gabby did not directly tell her fans to go attack Jen and harass Jen, but that's exactly what the fuck happened. To the point that they called her job, her old job, that she didn't have anymore at the time, to try to get her fired. Okay? So now that you have that, again, I see Jen pop up. I'm like, what accusations? She tells me what accusations and what apologies she needs. And I'm like, valid. Valid. Not even mad at it. And they delete her comment. And I was like, hold on. Because at this point, any comment that I had posted had not been deleted yet. And I had been fairly blunt, but also kind of treading the line carefully. Because I wanted to see and observe more than contribute. But I was willing to contribute to be like, yes, I'm an active member. Like, whatever. So there was a couple people that were like, that were in there and they were like, I got all I needed. I'm sending it to the drama channels. Da, 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 da. Of course they did, because Peter gets a hold of it. Evangelina gets a hold of it. I don't even know how many other people got a hold of it, but it is all over the place. It's on Reddit. Okay. Whew. So I'm just like, oh boy. Okay. So we got those people coming in up in here. All right. Cool. Fun. So then I want to hear out Jen. And I'm like, wait. Why are we deleting her comment? If she has a valid question, if she has a valid request, why are we deleting it? And basically, the mods are just like, it doesn't serve a purpose. It's just here to make enemies of Gabby. Like, it's just here to incite. How was it Mandy said it? To incite drama and conflict. That's the word she used. Conflict. And I was like, well, no. Like, Gabby kind of already did that. Like, if we're being honest, Gabby kind of already did that. And she did that by mentioning Trisha and Jesse. Like, she did that, right? Jen is simply asking for an apology. And before y'all ask, what do you need an apology for? She's trying to post and be like, this, this. Since we're on the subject of apologies, where's mine? Where's my apology? Never got one. It's been 5 years. Where is it? You know? So, and I don't think it's been 5 years since the incident. I think it's been like 10. But I think it's been 5 years since Gabby essentially posted, other than when she made the big apology, the big vague apology where she didn't really address anybody directly. She was like, for anybody that I've hurt, I'm sorry. Girl, if you don't learn to take some accountability, if you don't learn how to say names, because let's look at stuff like George Floyd. Say their name. Say their name. Let's look at Trayvon Martin. Same sort of situation where they were a victim of something horrible. Say their name. You were or you were a villain to these people, Gabby. Say their name. Say their name when you address them. Say their name when you apologize. Don't just sit here and make a sweeping statement. Oh, for all those I've hurt, to make this easy, and I don't have to admit to anything specific to anybody that I've hurt. I'm sorry. Just for you to then turn around to the same people you've hurt, like Trisha and Jesse, once you become religious and hurt them again. Girl, why? Or attempt to hurt them, because right now they're ignoring you, and what we know you really want is for them to feed into it. What you really want is for them to address you so you can play the victim again. But I digress. So I'm going through, and finally they stop. They stop deleting her comments, Jen's comments. And so now me and Jackson's like, is that the real Jen Dent? And I'm like, yeah, it is. Mandy's like, yeah, it is. And he was like, and y'all are cool? And they're like, well, right now she's being respectful. Okay. So me, Jackson, Jen, and another person in the chat, we're all talking. We're getting along. We're having a great time. We're laughing. We're cutting up. We're just like Jen is talking about she's got to take her sleepy meds and her pudding. Like it's funny. It's funny. Okay. It's enjoyable. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. Like this is kind of like the stuff I'm coming for. This is what I like. This is what I was hoping was going to be in the chat. This is why I was like, there's no way. There's no way of this negativity. But in the midst of that negativity, so between Gabby going off on this one other patron, this person that's in the group chat, between that and Jen coming in, Gabby leaves. Gabby leaves her own Patreon. She leaves well, she leaves her own Patreon. So Jen is just like essentially talking to no one. But Jenna's been in this for years. She knows, like, Gabby's still going to watch. If she's not watching, then y'all are relaying the information. Somebody is watching for her and relaying the information to be like, this is what's going down. And if she wasn't watching, then why would you be deleting anything? Like, why would it matter? Right? So, on top of that, like, why are you deleting messages rather than blocking people from the Patreon? And same thing with Gabby. Like, why were you arguing with this person rather than just being like, I don't have the time to explain this, nor do I have the energy. What you're asking is whatever, and then just block them. Like, why weren't you doing that? You had the power. Like, it's your Patreon, girl. Protect your peace of mind. If you feel so inclined, bye. But no, you let them stay. And then you get mad when they say something you don't like, and it's just like, so are you're wanting to continue to be a victim of other people, right? So you can call them demonic. Like you called Adam McIntyre demonic and a monster, right? Like Jesse is dangerous and Jen is dangerous and Trisha is dangerous when everybody's been minding their business for the past 5 years until you decided to make your come around, right? Okay, so Gabby gets into it with somebody in her chat. She leaves. Gabby leaves. Jen comes in. They start deleting all of her messages. They stop deleting the messages when I point out, like, that's kind of hypocritical and stupid. Me, Jen, Jackson, and this other person, we're all having a conversation. We're getting along fine. We're having a great time. And Jen's like, all right, you know what? I got to take my sleepy time meds. The nurse just brought me some pudding. I'm going to eat my pudding, go bed. And she's being silly and everything. And everybody's like, all right, have a good one. Take care. Blah, 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 blah. It was really nice having a nice conversation with somebody that doesn't necessarily get along with Gabby. Like, that was really conductive. It was fun. It was enjoyable. Even Jackson was just like, this was fun. So we all just kind of, we go away. We go away for a little bit. The chat kind of drops. It kind of slowly dies for the evening. And the next day I wake up and I go to look and I'm like, well, surely they left that up because that can show, there's even evidence for Gabby. Like, look at what can happen, right? When you give somebody a chance, look at what can happen. When you can hear somebody, I thought for sure Gabby was going to use that as a tool to come back and be like, Jen is like making amends up in here. Like, Jen is being nice. She's being kind to my fans. Like, that is a really great step. I'm going to pray for you, Jen, that this continues for you. I'm so happy to see it. I'm so glad that we can move past everything. Whatever. I so thought that's what was going to happen, but no. I wake up the next morning, I go look at the Patreon open chat, which is open to, or was open to the public, and I see that every single message that Jen Dent sent, the good ones too, are gone. Gone. Like they never happened. Now me and Jackson look like we are crazy people talking to nobody. But then I'm like, there went my hope. There went my hope for humanity. Why? Why did that need to go? Why did that need to be gone? Like, I can understand you deleting. I mean, it was already deleted, the ones that y'all didn't like, but y'all left this up for hours. I sat there for half the night being like, are they going to delete it as quickly as I deleted the other ones? Like, giving them for like a couple of hours. Nobody deleted it. It wasn't until the next day that they deleted everything. And I'm just like, but why? But why? So now I'm trying to make it my mission to understand why and be like, okay, somebody else comes in. And at first I thought it was Jen because the next day I come in and there's more chunks of messages missing. And I'm just like, oh God. Like there's only two people really in this group chat or this open chat that would have gotten deleted that quickly. And in that like rapid fire and it be message, 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 message. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh my God, Jen came in there again. And they were just like hitting her hard. So I messaged her because before we left for the evening, me and Jen, oh, me and Jen were going at it. Me and Jen were not on the same page at all whatsoever. I was just like, oh, don't be coming in here disrespectful. Like, no, 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 no. Because at that point, I was like, in my head, I'm like, I don't want to see this get taken down. Like, this needs to stay up. Like, the curiosity in me. I need to understand. I need to be able to ask the questions why. I need to be able to not necessarily feed my curiosity, but like genuinely know like what is the end goal? What is the motive? Why are you deleting comments when Gabby isn't here and y'all repeatedly say Gabby isn't here? Why are y'all being hard to get along with? Well, why are you deleting the comments if she's not here? You see what I'm saying? So Jen comes in there the first time and she's just like blah 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 and I'm like, girl, stop. And she's just like, no, fuck you, you bitch. And I'm like, ma'am, you was grown acting like a child if you don't quit. Like, and she was like, oh, we ageist now. Like, we were going at it. Okay. We were not getting along. But again, like I said, me, Jackson, Jen, and one of the other people in there, by the end of the night, we were getting along. And in the midst of that, Jen was like, I'm sorry for calling you a bitch. And I was like, I'm sorry for saying that you was acting some type of way and bringing your age into it. My bad. So we just both like made amends that quick, right? And she's just like, you seem like a cool person. Like, I'm gonna follow you YouTube. And I was like, hey, I'll follow you too. Like, all right, that's cool. And she was just like, I'm gonna add you on Facebook. All right, cool, bet. So me and her were talking on Facebook briefly, and I was just like, like little bits and pieces here and there. And like, that was really fun. Really enjoyed that. Sorry for everything you've been through. Just being a kind person, right? And so the next day, when I'm seeing all of like Jen's messages are gone, and there's chunks of messages, I'm like, so I go straight to Facebook and I'm like, Jen, did you make another account and go back in there? And she was like, no, why? And I was like, there's like books of messages gone, like chunks of messages gone. And she was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. Uh huh. And she was just like, no. She was like, I hadn't gone back in there. I haven't been in there since like me, you, and Jackson all had our conversation. And I was like, which at that point had been 2 days, right? And I'm like, well, fuck. Like, what the hell's going on? Who was that? So now Mandy is active in the chat. And Mandy and Jackson are talking, and um, I forget all that was said. There was somebody else that basically took Jen's side and was like, Jen had every right to ask that question. Like, Gabby is demanding this of this, and da 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 da, and blah, 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 right? And Jackson is like, no, 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 no. No, because this isn't the place for it. And I'm like, well, hold on. Because if this isn't the place for it, and this is the only way that Jen can essentially talk to Gabby in any way, shape, form, or fashion, like, wouldn't this be the best place? And so he starts rethinking it. And that's my whole goal, is to get people to see a different perspective, right? That's my whole goal, is can you see the other person's perspective? Or are you just like blindly following Gabby? So at some point through that, I asked Mandy, and I was like, look, I think it was, nope, I take that back. I take that back. I take that back. The guy, Tim, Tom, Matt, Mike, whatever his name is, the other moderator, he makes a post and he was like, is it really that hard to be respectful? So I ask, what do y'all consider to be respectful? Because me, as a blunt person, I could say something that I believe is respectful while also being a harsh truth, and you may take that as disrespect. So, is there any way to give an example or even make a post as the mod saying, this is an example of absolute respect? This is an example of like being blunt and sharing a harsh truth while being respectful. This is absolute blatant disrespect, and this is where the line is drawn, right? That's what I ask. Reasonable. They never do. They never once do. So I go back and I'm continuing through conversations. Like, Jackson's talking about this to this person and that person and this person and that person. They bring up the August 3rd thing and they're like, that's my birthday. Blah. Okay, cool, fine. Cool, fine. Great. Keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. Here comes Jen again. And I'm just like, oh. And I, oop. And so Jen, respectfully, so I had made the comment, and I guess Jen had read it because I was like, what constitutes respectful? Like, genuinely, what constitutes respectful? No one had gotten back to me. And so everybody that's having their comments deleted are like, I'm going to word this as respectfully as possible, and they're re-asking the question. Because one of the other things I said was, as a moderator, it is more conducive and less detrimental. It is extremely detrimental to delete comments, just deleting them, to the point that this chat becomes an echo chamber. When you say that you are willing to hear constructive criticism, that we are okay to ask these constructive questions, it is far more constructive to do it and do it respectfully if you paint the picture of what respectful is so that these people can. And what I would do if it were me, right? If it were me, but it's not. Like, I'm putting a whole bunch of parentheses in here of like catches of like, if it were me, but it's not. What I would do is tell the person, hey, I see your point. I see what you're trying to get to. But that the way you just worded that's a little disrespectful. Can you reword that? I'm going to delete this one. And then delete it. And allow them the opportunity to re ask the question in a different way, right? As a mod. So that way you can have constructive conversations. So now everybody apparently is agreeing with my sentiment, and that's what they start doing. Like, I'm gonna say this as respectfully as possible. I'm going to ask this as respectfully as possible, as nice as I can. This, and this. And more people are having their constructive thoughts kept. So Mandy makes the comment of, it's not anybody else's job to figure out how this group chat works. And I'm like, well, it's open to the public. First of all, who are you talking to and who are you talking about? But second, it's open to the public. So the public should be able to, like, it should not be an echo chamber of just Gabby stands. If that was the case, then it should be behind a paywall. She opened it up for a reason. She should have known, and or she did know, that this is exactly what was going to happen. People are going to ask questions. People want clarity. People want answers. People want to understand. We are human beings. We are complex. We are curious creatures. She knew, or had to at least assume at some point, that any of this was going to take place. Right? She had no protocol in place, and when times got tough, she ran. She dipped. She was like, "I can't do this anymore. I'm going off social media." Like, she had already left TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, other than posting the podcast. And she said, "I'm going to make posts, but someone else is going to be keeping and monitoring all of this." And then the only thing that she had at the time was Patreon, the group chat, the open chat, and the paid chat. That's all she had, right? And so now she's run. When she got faced with hard shit that she didn't want to deal with, she ran. She dipped out of her Patreon. So now we're all talking amongst ourselves, being like, why did she leave? Why won't she give Jen the apology? She's demanding apologies from everybody else. Why is she jealous and envious of Gabby, or not Gabby, but Trisha and Jesse? Why is she perpetuating all of this stuff? Why is she going on YouTube making podcasts in her testimony, saying how she found God, but sitting here being like absolutely ugly to people? It's very hypocritical. So, and I point that out to Mandy, because I'm like, look, you can't say that it's not. And if this is supposed to be an echo chamber, then put it behind a paywall so people like me and anybody else that's curious can't ask these questions. It makes no sense for it to be open while y'all are consistently sitting here deleting, blocking, and banning people. Like, it makes no sense. And she's like, well, that's not up for you to decide. No, but it is up for me to question. As part of the public, I think there's more than just me that thinks this. Surely there was, because a whole bunch of likes ended up on that comment. Here comes Jackson. And he's like, I thought you were nice. I am nice. Well, we had just such a great blah, 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 and now you're coming for Gabby. I'm not coming for her. Well, what do you mean you're not coming for her? You're saying all this stuff is very mean. It's not mean. It's truthful. And here's the whole other thing that I said the entire time that I was in there. I would hold my own friends, my best friends, my acquaintances, my coworkers, all accountable in the same way. So none of what I was saying was rude. Just asking a question. I'm asking for clarity, right? So a friend of mine did some messed up stuff. I'd be like, hey, you really think that's the smartest choice you could have made in that moment? Nah, nah. I probably could have worded that better. I probably could have fixed that situation had I worded things better. Okay, you don't have to fix this one if you don't want to, you know? But maybe going into the next one, like, be armed with the knowledge of what happened in this one, what transpired here. Okay, yeah, that sounds, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a different perspective. That's all that's being offered is a different perspective of like, hey, can you understand? Like, if I was to talk to Gabby, can you understand why Jen might feel some type of way? Can you at least? And that's what I asked Jaskin. Jackson. That's what I asked Jackson. I said, if your friend did this, wouldn't you feel some type of way? Yeah, I guess I would. Wouldn't you ask them to do this? Wouldn't you ask them and hold them accountable and kind of wait and see, like, are they ever going to? And if they don't, be like, hey, it's been a really long time. And now that you're coming with all of this other stuff, don't you think it's about time to address this issue? And he was like, well, yeah, I guess I can see that. That's all I'm asking. If she's going to address this, then be accountable for this. And I hold my friends accountable. That's why I expressed to Jackson, I hold my own friends accountable. So you best believe I'm gonna try to hold a stranger accountable that has a parasocial relationship with a ton of her fans that could do real damage, that has done real damage to real people. Yeah, I'm going to say something. It's foolish not to. And in no way did any of what I said come across as rude, like belligerent, maybe condescending, but like it didn't come across as disrespectful. Otherwise, all of my messages would have been deleted. I had one out of 20 that I posted be deleted. One. And I was like, hey, do you mind telling me why? It was disrespectful. Okay, what about it made it disrespectful? Well, I shouldn't have to point that out. Kinda. Yeah, kinda, because all the rest of them are respectful. So, and I worded this very similarly. So, what reason? But anywho, so now Jen is sitting here like, I'm going to ask as respectfully as possible. Why can't Gabby take responsibility for this? Why haven't I got my apology yet? And Mandy wants to go off. Mandy calls her unhinged. Jackson accuses her of being a drug dealer, or not a drug dealer, a drug user. Okay. This is a 17-year-old kid who is accusing a grown person of doing drugs. Who is simply asking, this adult is simply asking for another adult to take accountability for their actions or either shut up about it. Like, just shut up about everybody. Jesse, Trisha, we're all asking the same thing. Either shut up or while you're here, take accountability for the damage you've done. That's all we're all asking, right? And I expressed that to Jackson, like, I'm not the only person here. Why are you harping at me, bruh? Everybody else is asking the same thing. Jen has every right to sit here and be like, I got accused wrongfully of some really messed up stuff. We're all able and capable of asking someone to hold themselves accountable. We're not trying to be karma. We're not trying to sit here and police her. We're asking her, hey, do you think, don't you think that during all of your forgiveness and your path to enlightenment that you could come back and have a little bit of accountability rather than attack the people that you already attacked? And while you're demanding apologies, don't you think you could give a few? A few named ones anyway? It doesn't have to be public. At least, I don't think it has to be public. I think Jen would be like over the moon to be like, oh my God, Gabby apologized. Like, if Gabby apologized in private, Jen would be like, oh my God, she apologized. She said everything I needed her to say. I'm dropping it just so you guys know. I'm never going to comment on this again. Or if Gabby just shut the fuck up about it, nobody would comment anything. That's the whole thing is she's going to make it I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. But girl, you put yourself there. You made yourself a victim. You entered the chat and you said shit about Trish and you said shit about Jesse when everybody is minding their fucking business. You come for them and then you're like, "But I'm saved. Here's my testimony." Girl, you did this. You ain't a victim of nothing but yourself. You are a victim of your own mouth. Like, you did this. You can end this. Only you can prevent forest fires of what you keep starting. You you lived in California. Stop starting wildfires in PA. Stop. So anywho, Mandy comes in there and she was just like, "Well, you don't get to police these people and da 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 da, and everybody's disrespectful." And I'm just like, "What? Okay." So here comes Jen, and Jen types out rapid fire messages, and because which the irony, the absolute irony, she's sending rapid fire messages in the Patreon because she does voice to text sometimes. And Mandy's like, "It took me 22 minutes to formulate one comment, and in that time frame, you sent 8." And Jen's just like, "That's not my problem. That's not my problem." But Mandy basically calls Jen unhinged, and I'm like, where was this energy when Gabby was posting 200 TikToks a day? When she was unhinged? You didn't say that then. You were like, "Oh my God, poor Gabby. Poor Gabby, she's going through so much. Oh my God, poor Gabby." What about poor Jen? Why aren't you sitting here being like, "Oh my God, poor Jen. She must be feeling so terrible. She's never gotten that apology. Oh my God, poor Jen." No, you want to call her unhinged. You want to say something is wrong with her. Girl, for real. So I called Mandy on her shit, and I was like, "That's funny." Everything Mandy was saying, I was flipping it over, and I was just like, "Girl, like, are you for real?" I could have swore I heard something. Anywho, but I'm just sitting here. I'm like, "Are you for real right now? You don't see the hypocrisy?" So I pointed it out respectfully, but I pointed out the hypocrisy, and that's what prompted Jackson to hop up in there and be like, "You're being mean, bro. That is not mean. That's not mean." And so I paint him a picture, and I'm like, "Look, this and this and this and this, plus this and this and this and this." Two things that I have always said in that chat is one, I will always hold my friends accountable, and I'll hold them accountable the very same way that I was holding everybody else in there accountable. If you're going to say one, if you're going to say something to one, it best be true for both. So if you're going to say that Jen is unhinged for posting 8 messages, you best call your little stand person over here. You better call Gabby unhinged for posting the 200 fucking TikToks in a day. Okay? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I can post controversial, or I could post controversial remarks that would get people thinking, but Jen would get ridiculed for it. Well, if you're going to take hers down, take mine down too. No, no, yours are fine, then why are hers not? Oh, yeah, I was clocking it every chance I got. And so that's what I told Jackson. So that's one thing I always said. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I would hold my friends accountable the exact same way. Okay? That's the first. The second is that a victim can still be a villain. Those two are not exclusive to a person. There's no such thing as a perfect victim. There's no such thing. Now, I'm sure that Gabby is a victim of some things, mostly herself, but I'm sure that Gabby is a victim of some horrible things. She's probably a victim of like being bullied in high school. She's probably a victim of actual narcissistic abuse from somewhere, but it ain't Jesse. It's not Trish. She's probably a victim of some form of abuse. Yeah, sure. She's probably a victim of society. Okay, yeah, sure. Of some form of like societal construct. Yeah, okay, cool, fine. She's possibly a victim of racism because she's Middle Eastern. I think she's like Lebanese or something. I'm not entirely sure, but like she's said it multiple times. I'm Middle Eastern. Okay, cool, girl, cool. You're white passing, but cool, girl, cool. Like, I'm sure you are a victim, Gabby, but you can still be a villain. Jesse can be a victim and still be a villain, but you conveniently forget it. And you've said that. She can be a victim while being a villain, but you forget that when it's you because you're just a victim. You didn't do anything. You just had shit happen to you, but you didn't do anything. But, ma'am, you are a villain. And you're not just a villain to a few people or one person. You are a victim or a victim. You are a villain to an entire community of people. You are a villain to the drama channels calling Adam McIntyre demonic and a monster. You are a villain to Trish and Jesse, bringing them up years after the fact. That is villainous behavior. That's demonic. That's twisted and unhinged. You are a villain to Jen Dent. You were a villain to half the chat that was in your Patreon. And it was shown how villainous you actually were. So, no, ma'am, you do not get to continue to play the victim while you are sitting here being the villain. You need to own up, grow up. Okay? A victim can still be a villain. Hurt people hurt people. I do not doubt for a second that she's hurt and that she's hurting people. I don't doubt either one of those facts. Those are facts. Those are clear facts. She is hurt and she is hurting other people. Fine. But then own it and say, yes, I hurt a lot of people and I'm going to name them by name and I'm going to take accountability because guess what? Guess what? When you are repenting and you're asking for forgiveness, that's what you do. You say, I hurt you and this is how I hurt you. I remember it because it bothers me that I hurt you because I care. But you've already shown you don't care. You don't give two shits. You really don't. And you're not going to change and you're never going to stop. And you admitted you're never going to stop. But here's the kicker. And when Jen showed me this little piece of the paid Patreon comment that Gabby made years ago, baby, that's all I needed. Because you slipped up, Gabby. You slipped up. You are aware of the rumors against Jen, and you've never once addressed it. You said to Jesse that Jen was being accused and that it was dark what she was accused of. Where is your proof, ma'am? Where is your proof for what you said about Trish? You perpetuated that rumor, right? Just like you perpetuated the one against Jen. You didn't have any proof, just like the one against Trisha, right? Where's the proof of that? You heard from someone, right? And you just, oh, be careful. And in that same Patreon post, you sat here and said, don't engage with these people. They're dangerous. They're dangerous. Where's your proof? Or is it because they don't agree with you? But here's the kicker, because I kept asking in that chat. I kept asking in that public chat, is this meant to be an echo chamber? And no one gave me an answer. No one said that no, it's public. Everybody can have any opinion. No one explicitly said what was respectful and disrespectful. So you had to wager a guess. You had to take a gamble and post and risk it being deleted. No one was given a clear description of what was able to be posted and what wasn't. But everything that agreed with and groveled and worshipped Gabby, that was able to stay. And so last night I'm having conversations. Well, no, I take that back. Last night I did not have conversations. The day before I did. I was having conversations with Jackson and Mandy and blah, blah, blah. And they weren't great conversations, but they were civil. I will say that. They were civil. I wasn't rude. I wasn't mean. I wasn't cruel. Yesterday I was busy. Yesterday I had to run to town. Had to run some errands. Had to go get some groceries. Came back, was talking to a friend of mine on the phone. Messaged Jen, like, hey, what's up? And she lets me know, like, hey, is Patreon down? Like, is the chat down? And I was like, I don't know. I haven't checked it all day. Matter of fact, I've been busy. And I tell her the very same thing I'm telling you. I was busy all day yesterday. All day. Didn't get home until like now, 7 o'clock. Which you guys can't see that, but like it's 7 o'clock in the evening. Okay? I didn't get home until like 7, 8, and was in bed by 8. Okay? Because I was dog ass tired. And so I'm like, I'll have to go look. Give me just a second. Because she's like, is it gone for you or is it just gone for me? And I'm like, let me go check. So I go check. And for like a week, give or take, I had been in this chat and no one had a problem. I mean, Mandy probably didn't like the way that I was able to be like, but if you're going to say that to this one, you need to say the same to that one and hold that one to the same standard. Because if you're not, like, if your leader isn't the example, then think about why. Like, she should be the example of what a good person in the Patreon should post. Like, she should be the example. And she can't even keep it together without leaving and running from her problems. Like, what are y'all really moderating? Right? And so for a week, I've been good. Apparently, I'd been safe from getting, like, blocked and banned and my comments being deleted, except for one. I've been good. I've been behaving. I even told Jen, I was like, look, girl, if you're going to come up in here, you're going to have to play nice. If you want to come up in here and you want to get the intel you're trying to get, you got to be nice. You got to play their game. It's a long game, but you got to play their game. And so she did. And she got the information. And she screenshotted all that shit. And I was like, get it, girl. Clock it. Go ahead. And she asked me, and she was just like, I might make a video. And so I told her, I was like, just don't dox me. That's all I give a shit about. I really don't care. I have nothing to hide. And I've said that from day one. I have nothing to hide. Just don't dox me. I don't want my address out there. These stands be crazy, let me tell you. I don't want my real name out there. I don't want my address out there. I don't want the state I live in out there unless I'm providing it. I don't want my city out there. I don't want none of that out there. Now, my face, oh, yes, I'm showing my face. And let me tell you why I'm showing my damn face. I'm showing my face because I'm not afraid of some teeny boppers and Gabby. Call me demonic Gabby. There's my horns. Call me a demon Gabby. Go ahead. Say I'm demonic. Say I got issues. Say I got problems. Say I'm unhinged. I got a lot more I could say about you, girl. I ain't trying to start no shit. But you came to the internet. You came back to the internet. And the internet is not kind and you knew it. And you put yourself on Patreon and you blew up on somebody on the Patreon for everybody and their mama to see. Then you ran. And you still haven't addressed Jen. And I'm not asking for you to address her, and she's not asking for you to address her. It would be the right thing to do, but what we are going to ask you to do is shut up. Shut your mouth. If someone says something you don't like, what is the Christian thing to do, Gabby? Can you answer that? Turn the other cheek. Ignore it. Walk away. But you can't. You thrive on the chaos. You thrive on the drama. You won't stop. The drama channels are never going to stop. You'll keep calling them demonic because they're covering the footage of you acting a damn fool online because you won't stop. You have the power and you won't stop. What do you want them to do? They're going to get their coin. What did you decide to do with the Patreon? Whatever happened to me? I got blocked. I was in there a week behaving and I got blocked. So I wouldn't know whether or not the Patreon was down, and I told Jen, I was like, I wouldn't know, I'm blocked. And I wish that was a check I could cash because I'd have laughed all the way to the bank. I wish that had been on my bingo card for 2026, I swear. Never in my life. But Jen got confirmation that the open chat is down. Now, I don't know what else is on that Patreon because, again, I'm blocked. I don't even know if the Patreon itself exists or if she took that down too. All I know is when it pulls up her name, this channel has blocked you. This Patreon has blocked you. This page has blocked you. Whatever in the hell. That's what comes up. Why? Why, you may ask? When I was behaving, because I didn't agree with Gabby, because I had constructive thoughts, because I could think for myself, because I had a singular thought that was slightly different than hers, because I didn't go along with the bullshit, because I don't believe in further bullying people and acting like I'm karma and seeking vengeance and seeking accountability from other people while I still have a mess in my backyard to clean up. That's the problem that Gabby has. She still has a mess in her backyard. She ran from the problems in LA to go to PA and then start up drama there because her life was going nowhere. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that working at the YMCA was just not enough for you. It wasn't fulfilling, right? So you needed to get married. You needed to have something interesting to bring back to the internet because you knew you had to return, right? Because you couldn't be a victim of the same circumstances because you were no longer there. So you had to create new circumstances. But oh, what was that? I found Jesus. Okay, cool. You found Jesus. What was the first thing you do when you find Jesus and come back to the internet? Oh, I got problems with Trisha and Jesse. Girl, you already told your side of the story 5 years ago when you made that series. Ain't nobody cared then and ain't nobody caring now. If you're going to make your testimony, make your testimony. If you're healed, say you're healed. And you probably never will be healed. And that's the reality. But what you can do is you can have control of your mouth and stop bringing it up. See, I got some room to talk. I got some room to talk because I had a friend of mine, an old friend of mine who is now an ex-friend of mine. Me and her had a falling out about 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, give or take. No, I take that back. I take that back. It was about 3 years ago. Yeah, we had known each other for about 7 years, 7, 8 years at the time, and we were close. And we had a falling out about 3-ish years ago. And for a good year or so, I was still hurt. Oh, yeah. I was telling all of my friends, like, look, I'm going to need y'all to be careful with me because I'm hurt. And I don't want to be around this person because they trigger me. They literally would send me into panic attacks just being in the same vicinity as this person. And so my friends understood and they were like, I would never intentionally bring you around. But if they show up, I was like, then I will walk away. I will walk away. I won't say a word to them. Ended up in a situation where that person said something to me because they were hurting, I guess. Or maybe just they were just being cruel. I don't know. But I walked away. And after that year of me healing and having to get it out of my system, what they had done to me and how I felt and how I was finally healing, and they came back around. And when they came back around, I had done so much healing in that moment that I would have given them a chance had they shown themselves that they had changed. Because I asked them consistently, this isn't going to work. We talked for probably about a week, and I was like, this isn't going to work, and we're not going to be able to mend a friendship if you can't acknowledge the part that you played. And they didn't. And I gave them 2 weeks to come back and message me, say anything. Hey, hi, how are you doing? I thought about what you said. Anything. Kiss my ass. Anything. After they were so desperate to meet my friends. And they didn't say anything. And so I said my last piece to them. And I texted it up and I sent it and I blocked them for the very last time because up until that point they were blocked on everything but text messages. And so I blocked their number and I was done. And I'm not going to mention their name. I will never mention their name. And other than proving a point right here, right now, I've never mentioned them. I've never brought them up in the past 3 years. Nope. With the exception of when they tried to, I take it back, with the exception of when they tried to come back around, which was last year. Like, no, was it last year? Yeah, last year. That was the only time that I brought them up. I was like, oh my gosh, like this person reached out. I wonder if they've changed. I wonder if they've grown. And they didn't. And so I cut the tie. And I haven't brought them up other than to prove a point right here that, Gabby, you could do the same. I've been in your shoes to the point that I related to you, ma'am. I've been in Trisha's shoes. I've been in Jesse's shoes. I've been in all of y'all's shoes, so I can see. And that's the one thing that Jackson did say to me that was the greatest compliment I could have ever received. You are capable of seeing all sides. Yes, I am. Because I've been every one of the people that is in this situation. Absolutely, I can see all sides. That's why I can tell you you're going down the wrong path here. But you'll never stop. It doesn't matter how many people bring awareness to it, Gabby, you're never going to stop. I hope one day you do. I don't care if it's 10 years down the damn line. Girl, you were in your 30s. You need to stop. I'm telling you. The shit that went down with me was in my 20s. Okay? You got to grow up. And the worst part about all of it is that the people that she surrounds herself with, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That's the crowd of people that she has around her. Young, impressionable, frontal lobe not even completely fully developed yet. No sense of actual reasoning, like in depth, constructive, complex thought having type people. Those that are easy to manipulate, easy to tell, pick a side, and it better be mine. Those are the types of people that she thrives on. And Jackson's never going to leave. I can tell you that one. Jackson will never leave. Jackson will never see the other side. And I'll tell you why. Because he's 17. He's been a fan since he was 2. That's what he says. And he's been chosen. Excuse me. He's never going to leave. The parasocial relationship between him and Gabby, he thinks he was handpicked because she's got a song out called August 3rd. Sweetheart, that's probably the day that she met her husband. I don't think it has anything to do with your birthday. But it just furthers the potential for her entire chat to be as delulu as she is, to think like that's to think that highly of yourself, for one, is delusional, that you are that important to Gabby that you're going to have a song named after your birthday. That's a little delulu. Jackson, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. That is a little delulu. It's also a little narcissistic. Okay. I'm holding your hand when I say this. If you see this, that's a little delulu. It's a little narcissistic. Okay. Okay. I'm glad we're on the same page. But yeah. And I'm still not done. I could go on and on and on and on. And that's the worst part of it. But that was my experience. That's my testimony. That's my testimony of being in a Gabby public chat. Peter, you Peter, you missed out. No, no, Peter, you dodged a bullet, my friend. You dodged a bullet. Because I think it's priceless. However, that yet again she's run. She's run away. She can't face it. Girl, grow up. Grow up. Shut up. Put up. Shut up. Something. Damn. Anywho, I'm waiting for the day that Gabby calls me demonic. I hope she sends me horns. I'll wear them. Um, in case you can't tell, I am just having so much fun. But yeah, I hope she calls me demonic. I'll go buy a set of horns from Spencer's. Shit, I don't care. Call me demonic, please. I would love it. You call everybody demonic that doesn't agree with you. It doesn't fit into your fantasy of what you think a fan should be or what you think humanity should be. I mean, girl, whew, yikes. But yeah, I will talk to y'all later. I got some more videos coming, by the way. But I could not, I could not pass this up because, like, what are the odds? What are the odds? What are the actual odds? And then, like, block me, girl. How sweet. Tell me you can't take criticism without telling me you can't take criticism. I'm so flattered. You picked me and Jen. I'm so flattered. You probably consider me her equal, and that is so sweet. Wow. I'm so special.